It's time for Transport Line, the program that showcases the contributions for all modes of transportation to the socio-economic growth and development of our country, Africa, and the rest of the world. Transport Line is being beamed to you from the Center of Excellence, the state of aquatic splendor, and Africa's second largest economy, Lagos. I am Shina Ilegbede. Glad to know that you are keeping us company. Out there, they say the weather is cloudy. But when you're talking about whether the weather is cloudy or not, and you have in mind the two most important modes of transportation, the natural ones, I'm referring to the deep blue sea economy, maritime, and the sky blue economy, aviation. Incidentally, the two are presently embroiled in one crisis or the other in Nigeria. The maritime sector, the introduction of the national single window is a ball of confusion presently at the Nigerian seaports. But we're not going to focus on that today. We are moving to the sky blue economy, aviation. Aviation today, its importance cannot be quantified because of the insecurity all over the land. The insecurity has made most Nigerians to look for means of getting the necessary fund to fly from one destination to the other in order to make sure that, God willing, you leave point A, you arrive safely at point B. But incidentally, the issue at hand today is that come tomorrow, Thursday, you don't know whether the local airlines in Nigeria will be flying. You don't know whether they'll be grounded. Because presently, yes, they say consultations are going on. But what are the basic problems? Why are we leaving things to the last moment when it be confusion, pafuka nawa? I don't know. I am not an expert. But I have with me on set somebody that is an aviation consultant and also the Secretary General of the Aviation Roundtable and Initiative in Nigeria. He will give us an insight into what is going on and the way out. His name is Olumide Onwayo. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Olumide, cloudy weather there. I don't know whether I can see clearly now. But for the average Nigerian that travels today by air, it's a ball of confusion. But this ball of confusion has now been brought to the front burner because of the threat by the Nigerian local airlines operators that come tomorrow, Thursday, they will down too. Olumide, what is going on?
Thank you for having me. And what happened? I want to take it from where you started from. You said you're talking about the sky blue economy and the deep blue economy.
Yes.
Today, the sky blue economy is now dependent fully on the deep blue economy, because what we are having today as crisis started from the Strait of Hormuz that was blocked and did not allow shipping the shipping routes to be open to allow ships carry oil and other oil and gas and other products, byproducts. One of those products affected is the aviation fuel. For us in Nigeria, we have the Dangote refinery. Dangote refinery is the only refinery now in Nigeria and almost within the West African sub-region that is producing aviation fuel. As of today, Dangote is selling 95% of its products, aviation fuel, to the Europeans, making cool money. And it's a private organization, so you cannot tell him who to deal with.
Oh, investment now?
Investment, yes. And the remaining 5% is being sold to the Nigerian air operators. Now, this fuel being sold to the Nigerian operator comes out of Dangote's refinery between 1,800 to about 2,100 naira. Now, you expect that with that, for those in Lagos, the margin should not be more than 100 or 150 naira per liter. Then for those cities outside Lagos, you're looking at maybe 300 or 250. Looking at the cost of logistics of transportation and keeping the quality intact. But then what has happened is that what the operators have seen is about 1,000 naira difference. How they did move. Dangote has come to that this is the price is coming out of his product. So Dangote is exonerated. Now between Dangote refinery and getting it to the airport, or getting to not to the airport, or getting into the aircraft fuel tank, then the price skyrocketed. Now, where is this price gouging coming from? Is it from the marketer, or is it between the marketer and the final consumer at the airline? It's somebody in between trying to guard the market. This is the area that calls for the intervention of the federal government of Nigeria. Let me first reassure Lagosians and Nigerians in particular, and your listeners. Yes, I repeat again this evening, be rest assured, the airlines are not going to down till tomorrow because the government has stepped in. They are trying to look at it and work out amicable ways to ensure that this does not happen again. But then, it has happened, and it will happen again if we do not put our feet on the ground and ensure and ensure we prepare for the future and ensure that this does not happen again. We cannot. Nigeria has come to a point whereby that there's a volatility in the aviation fuel or somewhere out there. Nigeria easily falls into that bubble, and we don't have the shocks or the absorbers in the system that cushions that effect. And this is something that we must use this period to learn. The airlines have tried. I must commend them that they have not allowed, if you can imagine airlines that were buying fuel, aviation fuel, for between 800 and 900 in February this year, are now being offered the same product at 3,000 naira. Wow. That's over 250%. And the ticket as of today is still in the range of 100, 150, 200, depending on the time of your purchase. So they have not reflected. But if they are to reflect that, then you're looking at the cheapest fare. Local fare should be between 450 to 500,000 naira. Who will fly that? And we're in a low season at the moment, whereby the people are not really traveling. So increasing fares now is just like asking the airlines to pack up and close shop. But then we must also realize that without the airlines, there are no agencies, there are no airports, there are no service providers. It is the airlines that bring people to the airport. It is the airlines that operate, that makes other service providers say, okay, I will supply catering, I will supply aviation fuel, I will supply ground handling equipment, I will bring my airport taxis to come and carry passengers. It is because the airlines will be there. If there are no airlines, but the passengers themselves will not come to the airport. So it is time to look at that important function of the airlines and address this issue once and for all. I feel that somewhere along the line, the regulator, not the NCA this time around, not FAN, the Petroleum Regulatory Price and Monitoring Body dropped the ball here. Yes. Yeah, because if that same margin was not noticed in the PMS, it was not noticed in kerosene, it was not. Yes, they all increased, but not as astronomical as the aviation fuel. They dropped the ball there, and that's what happened. And all the while, the airlines had made this appeal about 3 weeks ago, asking the government to step in. Nothing was done until when they came out with this threat. Must we see threat before we act?
Yes, must we see threat before we ask? Before we act, that was what I said in my opening intro, that we should not wait till when you have Confucian Pafuka Nawa, with all respect to late Fela Anikulapo Kuti of blessed memory. Now, yes, JT1 is one issue, but there are other issues confronting the local airlines operators that they've been crying day and night that government should look into it in terms of levies, taxes, and fees being charged by NCAA, FAN, NEMA, to mention a few. That is why today, the high mortality rate of local airlines is very, very high in Nigeria. What can be done? And I'll bring in what should be the position, or what's the position of the Aviation Roundtable and Initiative. Because like I said in my intro, you are wearing two caps.
Well, but I can see one cap on my head.
Yeah.
Maybe the other one is when you're hiding. I'm hiding underneath.
No,
But
I
you
can see. I can see
You
too.
can see it too.
Yeah.
But you see, the truth is, at this period, I don't want us to focus. I will discuss it because I'm not happy too that the AON are pushing these same things you have said now more to the government now than the fuel issue. There's a need for us to resolve this fuel issue once and for all, so it will not rear its ugly head. Again, after resolving it, getting the appropriate pricing, we also need to start working on what are we going to do if something like this happens in the future. Because I expect us to be saying, okay, what other countries are saying now, we are hearing Europe are saying, we have only 6 months reserve. In the next 6 months, the aviation fuel quantity available will not be there for our airlines. And so what they're doing, they're buying from all over the place. What have we done? If they have already taken 95% stock
From here.
and we have only 5%, how long will the 5% that we have, how long is it going to last us? These are the things I want to hear from between the government and the airlines. So we can be sure that if after getting, if one thing is okay, yes, we will sell at 2,300 to the airlines.
short period.
Right? And then the next 3 months, there's no aviation fuel anymore. Then we are back to the same problem. Then the black market aviation fuel will come out now and they will sell at 3,000 naira. So we need to be sure that, yes, as we are working on the price, we're also working on the ability to stabilize the supply. Now that you're not in control, because we don't have any of the publicly owned refinery working. So we are back to that private individual. Yes, it's a private investment. There's a limit here. If you already signed contract with an organization for 95%, just as we signed away our own crude oil supply to out to other people and asking him to go and buy from outside. So you can also sign 95% away. It's a private business. That 5%, are we sure that we're going to have it for the next 6-7 months? What are we saying? What are we doing to ensure that this supplies continue till the chaos in the Strait of Hormuz is resolved? Again, I have seen in other countries whereby even Ghana here, taxes of about 40%, 50% are being removed from the fuel, aviation fuel and other fuel to ensure that the citizenry can cushion the effect of the price fluctuation in the international market. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to see. But coming back to what you have raised, I think the AON, that's the Airline Operators of Nigeria, put all these things on the table before the government, which includes they were asking for debt-owed agencies to be wiped off or cleared. They also put forward that the loans that get credit facilities from the banks are coming at double digits, that they would rather want the government to fund the back of industry, who can now give them loans at a single digit. And they also, the third part was this, which is what you have mentioned now, that the taxes and charges that have been put in place by the agencies is too high, that the government should look into it. This topic has been on and on for a long time, but that, like I said, I thought they would just allow us first deal with the issue of the aviation fuel squarely before moving to this other aspect. But now that it's been put before the government, we can as well discuss it. Personally, I am of the opinion that yes, some level of facilities concerning the loans, that if the private banks are giving double digits, government can help fund Bank of Industries to give at single digits. I am some support of that. Mr. President has approved 30% waiver from the debt they are owing the government agencies. Now the unions in the government agencies are saying no, that waiving those debts is going to affect the finances of the agencies. You can see the pool using your language. Bafuka Nawa. So the unions are saying no, that should not be done. And there's other people saying, look, it is not a time to start waiving debts owed the agencies. Other forms of support should be considered, because if people can be so indisciplined to owe agencies, statutory fees that should have been paid, and are not using this period of this crisis to say, okay, the government should waive it. Why should the government encourage indiscipline? That they should look at other forms of support outside waiving historical debts. Because you're indirectly supporting administrative indiscipline.
Yes.
So these are the core areas now where the government is now being trapped and seeing how they can navigate. I support some waivers, but I want waivers to be on disciplined terms. If I'm waiving this amount, then you must pay this amount within a certain period of time. You cannot have your period again and you allow another debt to accumulate, and you wait for another period of crisis and you not ask us to waive it again. In other states, in other climes, when government is bringing out funds to support private organizations, you are supposed to present your financial records, your books, for the public to see. Because what you're asking for is not private money; it's public funds. Money. So let the public see the finances, your books. Open your books. Let us see what your books is like before we throw in public funds into it. For the ones in America, the American government say that whatever money we are bringing in is going to be equity as government shares in your organization. Now, if we would not see your books, how do I be sure that the money that because when you are bringing money into an organization that is bankrupt, that cannot be equity. You're only sucking money in. So these are areas that we all need to address and see that yes, as the government wants to help the airlines must be responsible enough to show us their books, to let us see what they are really going through, what their financial situation is, and then we see how our government can participate. I totally agree that government should come in at this time like there is done in other places, but I don't want it to come in as a dash. It should come in responsibly, accounted for, and when it's time to pay back, it must be paid back. It must be paid back.
You see, Olumide, this issue has been rearing its ugly head for decades now in terms of corporate management in the aviation sector. And people just come in, they believe that public fund will just be there for people to do whatever they want to do. And like you said, government should be clear, firm, and fair. So in government being fair and firm in dealing with issues like this, and today it affects the running of the airlines, will take me to the realm of unmitigated countless number of airlines meeting scheduled time, people not being able to meet their appointment, which incidentally affected and continue to affect the socio-economic life of the air passengers. What should be done?
Well, let me tell you, at this point, the flights are being delayed, flights are being cancelled, and it is obvious why this has been done now. Because of the acute fuel situation, airlines are merging their flights, frequencies are being reduced, aircrafts are being reduced so as to reduce the cost of fuel. Fuel before this period was about 30 to 40% of operational cost, but it has galloped to about 50 to 60%. And if it's not properly managed, the airlines will be grounded. We didn't want airlines grounded. We still want to be grounded. It is the airlines that moved people and moved the economy. So we must be able to manage this. So during this period, Nigerians will experience some delays and cancellations. But this cancellation is not supposed to be the norm. I quite agree with you, it's not supposed to be the norm. We have been having these issues in the industry before this period. So I would not want to say that the industry is going to capitalize on it. It should be understandable for this period. Then, the issues of delay and cancellation is something that not the airlines alone. We have the regulator, we have the infrastructure of the airport facilities available as some of the things that can improve delays and cancellations. Nobody wants delays. Nobody wants cancellation, because once you delay the very first flight, it cascades for the rest of the day. So everybody tries as much as possible. I personally, I'm even in the industry. Once I don't go on the first flight, I always wait for the last flight of the day, so that I know that yes, the day has ended. I can wait when it's ready. You know, that's my own. I'm not saying it's the best method, but I feel the industry can improve on the issues of cancellations and delays. And one of the ways it can be improved upon is the regulator and the ministry should ensure, as they had promised, that there will be monthly updates for the public to see. Airline reliability index. The reliability index shows their time of departure, taking an aggregate of if you have operated 10 flights, how many of those flights went on time, how many was delayed, how many was cancelled out of your scheduled, advertised scheduled flight. So this was supposed to be advertised for all the airlines. When you bring this out, you have put the airlines under pressure. You have made them understand that yes, there's no hiding place anymore. For those who are smart, who are on time, and for the laggards, you are now exposed. And when it's there, the passengers themselves now know which airline to buy and which one not to buy, especially when you are in a hurry or when you have a business meeting to attend. So, and if you're buying ticket for business meeting, you are ready to pay whatever fare is available. So it makes more profit for those airlines that are on time, and those who are laggards will also feel. So I think it's a two-way thing. The agency and the regulator must ensure that they bring out that monthly schedule of airlines operations, showing their schedule reliability. Again, for the passenger, when your flights are cancelled, your flights are delayed, don't rush straight to the social media. When you rush straight to social media, you have not done the appropriate thing that will yield you compensation. Appropriate compensation if you deserve one. So the most important thing is to file a report first to the airline. Then, if you do not get appropriate money, then you push that report straight to the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, to the Consumer Protection Department. And from there, it goes on. The regulation is very clear on compensations for delays and cancellations. It ranges from refreshments to refund to giving extra, giving some coupons for extra flights, or even accommodation if it's late night. So there's so many options available to the passengers once you make a file report if this flight really comes in.
Yes, Olumide, before we round up, I want to go back to the issue of Jet A1 because it was the main foundation of the discussion. In the course of our discussion, 6 months globally, Jet A1, presumably we pray that by then common sense will have prevailed among USA, Israel, and Iran, and we have peace. The Strait of Hormuz will have been open, but assuming, because there is always option A and option B. While we are seated here, other parts of the world are putting on their think tank to project, like you said. So, Aviation Roundtable Initiative and other non-governmental agencies in the aviation sector, what are you doing to put pressure on government so that there will be intelligentsia think tank to make sure that, look, this should be our option, this is what we should do. Not only that the 5% available to us from Dangote will be judiciously expended and disbursed.
Well, I sent a write-up to you just before we came to the studio. And if you look at that write-up, it's a 3-page write-up and an appeal letter we wrote to Mr. President yesterday. That was dispatched first thing this morning by me.
From Aviation Roundtable Initiative.
Yes, from Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative. We sent it to the Minister, to the Mr. President, Minister, and to the Chairman Subcommittee on Aviation in the Senate and House of Rep. We have listed there the things we want the government to look at during this period. Yes, I don't want to even count Israel in the scheme of things. It is principally the US, I see, because US were the one that initiated the attack on Iran, and Iran had to defend itself. So if US want to come to its senses and want peace to reign, I think they should just do the needful, pull out of that region. The Strait of Hormuz opened. Remove your ship from the coast of Iranian borders, and then allow the world to go back to that free economy. You can see how intertwined the mode of transportation are tied. The deep sea economy is presently grounded by the closure of that Hormuz, and because of that closure, aviation fuel has become very scarce. And like you said, I'm of the opinion, yes, this has happened. It will happen again. It might not be through the Strait of Hormuz. It might be any other war. It might be any other bully that comes in. What are the things we are putting in place to ensure that during this period, we at least have supply for a minimum of 6 months to take care of the industry? It's a food for thought. We must work on it. We cannot just sit down and rely on Dangote, this refinery that's a privately owned. The government must look for a way to keep reserve for both petrol, for PMS, diesel, kerosene, gas, jet A1, all these variants of petrol, there must be a storage capacity that can take the country for at least minimum of 1 year to supply, and that is what the government should work on, and use this process as a learning curve.
Mr. Olumide Ogunwayo, you've assured us that, God willing, tomorrow local airlines will not be grounded.
No, you can be sure that they,
yes,
they
okay.
They will not,
So we keep our fingers crossed and watch out. But I want to thank you for finding time to come on Transport Line, because presently,
remember my assurance that the airlines are not going to ground them. They are not going to go on strike tomorrow.
yes.
But it's not all flights that will operate.
Okay, well, you've heard from those that are close to what is going on. It is not a question of corridor of power. No power, because power belongs to God. The earlier we all know, the better. So that whatever we do, we have that conscience that only God has the power yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So we should be careful. Olumide, we thank you for finding time to come on Transport Line.
Thank you for having me.
Well, here we are, Nigerians. All things being done, be compassionate in all whatever you do. It's not only in the aviation sector, all realms of human endeavor. That way we have a better society for us. Till next time, bye bye for now.